Slide, 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 slide. Hello, this is Malcolm Hatchett. We haven't met with Malcolm Hatchett podcast. I thought I'd start the podcast off like that because I love music, and I tend to always come up with cool music sounds, like a lot of great artists when I'm not in the studio. Plus, the phone is equivalent to being in the studio. I'm in Raleigh, North Carolina. I just performed at the Goodnight Comedy Club. Hung out with some great friends afterwards. Laughed and played chess and played cards. And just had a great night. So I had 2 comedy shows with some great comedians at the comedy club in Raleigh called Goodnight Comedy Club. I'm a feature, so I've done 20 minutes. And I feel really good. Had 1 show yesterday, 2 today, and 2 shows tomorrow. I'm back in Los Angeles Sunday night. I'm always excited when I perform comedy because I get to meet new people, and I also get to bring the stuff that I write down or the stuff that I live or the truth that I carry with me every day I wake up to other places like my hometown or other states that I visit someday. And I get to perform for a lot of time, when you headline, you can do an hour or more. Or when you feature, you can do 20 minutes, sometimes 30. I have 2 shows tomorrow. And every show I try to come up with different material, different material, only because I know I have it and I like to write. And I do a lot of cool things in my life. So I try to switch it up every show. Plus, switching it up every show is always the same people at different shows, because some people come out to the shows, 2 shows a day, right? And they might come to the next show and I know people in the crowd expect comics to come up with different material because they pay good money to see us great comics. And, sometimes I tend to use the same material and it gets better every show, but I like to give the audience what they pay for, because you never know who returns to the next show. And it's always good to switch up the material, because when you switch the material, the people come up to you and they say, hey, I like you a lot because your material's different from the second show than it was the first show, And I heard that compliment a while ago when I first moved to California, and I got booked in Las Vegas at the Laugh Factory for a week. I did 16 shows. 16 shows. My black ass got to do 16 shows in Las Vegas for 1 week. And I did so much material. And every show I try to come up with new material. And someone came up to me after the show and said, hey, you're very funny. I'm glad you come up with new material because we checked you out the next show and you're very funny. And coming up with new material allows me to feel good about paying for the tickets, because they say some comedians perform every show with the same material. And I only say, well, the other comedians, they can do that. And also different shows, different people, comedians are like everyone else. Comedians are audience members, Audience members might wear the same shirt for a week. Ain't nobody judging them, So, but only me knowing that people come to shows if they have if there's a show in a town that audience members would like to attend. Sometimes the audience members might be their first time coming to a comedy show, and they want to laugh. They want to get a great experience. So they tend to probably go to a few shows throughout the week, only to see what comedy is about. And I know that. Been in the comedy game for going on 7 years. Right now I'm at 6 years, but I feel like I just started because I'm very young, like everyone alive, We're all kids, So me knowing that I can always improve, and I'm not afraid to go up on the stage for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4. I'm not afraid to perform and get no results. I'm not afraid to go up on the stage and people boo me. I'm not afraid to go up on stage and people say I'm not good at all. I live for those sounds, So me knowing that there's all types of audience members in the crowd, and plus I'm gonna be doing comedy for the remainder of my life. And even when I'm not here anymore, I'll still be doing comedy because as long as YouTube's here and Apple Music and great friends. I'll be doing comedy the remainder of my life. So when I get a chance to perform in front of a great crowd, even if it's 1,000 people, 2,000 people, a trillion people in the crowd, or 3 people in the crowd, or 1 people in the crowd, or even if I'm the only one, like I am right now with my podcast, I'm the only one in my hotel room and I'm recording this podcast. I tend to feel like I have to give it all I got. And me giving it all I got, every show I try to bring in some new material, some new words, some new topics, because me doing that allows me to get very, very comfortable on stage, because I don't ever look for anyone to say I'm funny. I don't ever look for anyone to say or clap when I say something very smart or silly. I don't ever look for anyone to laugh or chuckle in the crowd, because I do that on my own. I do that when I'm alone, I laugh at myself. I laugh at others, So me being on the stage is an opportunity for me to share the feelings and the emotion and the freedom and the experiences that I go through alone or with friends or with family. It's for me to share with beautiful people who come out to the comedy clubs, or beautiful people who come out to the parks, because I tend to perform outside a lot too, So it's always room for improvement for me. That's why I do a lot of podcasts. I try to do a lot of podcasts throughout the week, share with the world. One, because they'll live forever, like everyone. They'll live forever like a tree. Trees live forever. Even if they chop a tree down, the tree will grow again if it gets rained on, or if the root is deep, like everyone, the tree will continue to grow, and that's what I try to do with my comedy, I try to, every time I perform, I try to perform a different style. I try to perform a different words or different experiences that I go through, because life is everlasting. And if life is everlasting, then everything I do or say, me being Malcolm Hatchett, wherever I'm at with Malcolm Hatchett, is my podcast, I try to be different every time. I try to come up with different things. And I tend to repeat myself in my podcast. And I tend to repeat myself in life, or I tend to repeat myself when I do comedy. And that's the meaning of living. That's the meaning of breathing. Life is nothing but repetition of yesterday. And the more you repeat yesterdays, you tend to live longer and get better. Only if you allow yourself to. And I might not be making sense to a lot of my listeners, but hey, this podcast is for anyone, and so is life. 2 shows tomorrow. Very excited. I think I'm going to go into both shows with 20 different minutes, Got 40 minutes to do tomorrow, 2 shows, split it up. 40 divided by 2 is 20. And only reason I want to come up with different material for every show, because I want to do this forever. I want to have tons of albums out, not just to collect money. And I want to make money, of course, but I also want people to listen forever. And I feel like the more I put out in the world, the more the world will listen. And the more the world will listen, the more people will want to do comedy or do something cool. That's why I do podcasts. That's why I do comedy. That's why I draw. That's why I have an Instagram. Instagram is like a documentary of one's life. Instagram is like a documentary of one's life. Everything you do is like a documentary of your life, and a documentary equals everlasting. Those things live forever. Somebody gonna pass it on to somebody, and they gonna tell the whole world about you someday. And that's why I create. Everybody's a creative artist. Everybody's a creative. Everybody is born with creativity, and running into artists, I tend to get better. So I love comedy. Comedy is air. Comedy is life. Comedy is waking up. Comedy is sleeping. Comedy is beautiful. Got back to my hotel. I'm living in the DoubleTree to tomorrow. And I purchased 2 breakfast biscuits at 2:54 a.m. in the morning. They were downstairs for sale. And I'm so happy that they had those, because everything else is closed. I'm very excited to do those 2 shows tomorrow. Well, today, because it's the a.m. at morning. That's what a.m. stands for, at morning. And PM stands for pray, Malcolm. I'm very excited to go back to California tomorrow also, so I can continue to work and continue to perform comedy and continue to be very comfortable in my skin and continue to get better at everything I try to get better at. And that's waking up, being a kid, being an animal. Because the reason I say animal is because animal came before human. Even though I'm human, I always say animal. I know I'm young, but I have a very, 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 very old thought process, and that's only because I read books, and I love everyone before me. I think about getting a studio to do my podcast, and I got to thinking, well, I like the way the podcast is. I'm not in a rush to be like the rest of the cool podcasts with the video and the audio. Those people work very hard. I like audio only, because audio only, people can play it like music, and possibly they can write and draw and do cool things. But we have a video, you can do that too, but you tend to get distracted, at least for me. Audio is cool, because audio was here before video. I like to take it back, Audio was here before video. I get so excited to do comedy, I dropped the album today. My album's out. It's called No Edit. I dropped the album today. It's called No Edit. It's 22 minutes. I think that's the number that the running back for the Carolina Panthers wears. And he's very good. He's very good. See a running back all over the internet. He's good. I don't know his name. Look him up. Number 22. I think that's the name, his number. Very good at football. And that's how long my podcast is. And I'm very excited. Well, that's how long my album is. My album's called No Edit. It's a raw album like all my albums. My first album, Wire Talk. My second album, Freedom, spelled Freedum. And my third album, No Edit. I'm thinking about doing a fourth album, possibly in the middle of the summer. Maybe June 1st or June 4th. I'm calling this one The Rookie with Black Bird. That's the art. It's called The Rookie by Malcolm Hatchett with Black Bird. And the reason I come up with the Black Bird, because at the Goodnight Comedy Club, they had a Black Bird in the green room, or a photo, or some type of art that they have in the green room. And it was very cool, really cool Black Bird, very vintage. They purchased it and put it in there, almost like a picture or an image. And I saw it, and I came up with the idea of The Rookie. So The Rookie, and then the art is a Black Bird, and it'll possibly be out in July. Might drop it July 4th. And that'll be my fourth album. So Wire Talk, Freedom is a guitar album. No Edit is a comedy album. And The Rookie with a Black Bird is the art that I drew with blue pen and black Sharpie. I colored it in. By Malcolm Hatchett. And that'll be my fourth album. And my goal is to do so many albums, I try not to count them. But I know I'm on album number 3, and I have album number 4 in my phone already. I just have to edit it and keep performing. I don't think I edited this one either. I chop it up and name the songs. I'm very comfortable doing comedy now. I write on in my notebook, and I also write on napkins that I see in the comedy club. And I get up on stage, and I pick up the napkin and read the titles of the things that I write, and I expand with my comedy act, or my truth, or my experience, or me just speaking into a microphone about some shit I wrote down, And I feel good on the results, because I'm very comfortable just doing comedy in general. I narrow it down to working at McDonald's, Very excited about life. Hope everybody's doing all right. I try to put out at least 3 podcasts a week. I think 3 podcasts a week is good. 3 or 2. Hell, even 1. Even a half of a podcast, whatever that means. As long as you try. Trying is the best effort. Trying is the best effort. TRY is the best effort. And I also done a podcast today or yesterday before the show. It's called Camp Citrus. Podcast will be out Wednesday. It's called Camp Citrus. Podcast will be out Wednesday. It's called Camp Citrus. Podcast will be out Wednesday. It's called Camp Citrus. Podcast will be out Wednesday. It's called Camp Citrus. Podcast will be out Wednesday. A friend of mine in North Carolina reached out to me, and I was very happy to do his podcast. Thank you, Michael. Thank you so much for allowing me to do your podcast. This podcast comes out Wednesday. It's called Camp Citrus. It was a great conversation. It was before my show today, and it warmed me up. It warmed me up. Doing podcasts is equivalent to almost making music. And I listen to music before I do comedy, you know? Comedy is music. When people laugh in the crowd, that's almost like them making a beat, you know? Or them cheering on the music that you're producing as a comedian. So podcast coming out. Shout out to Michael. Camp Citrus comes out this Wednesday. And I'm excited. If anybody has any podcasts they would like me to do, I'll be back in California Sunday. I'll be back Sunday night. So if any comedians or any type of artists, anybody have any cool things that they would like to network on, hit me up. I'm a free person. Like everyone. I'm very free. I'm an easygoing person. I'm nice. I'm very kind. That's Kind. I'm very kind. And that's how I was raised, you know. And plus it narrows down to McDonald's. McDonald's taught me patience. McDonald's taught me customer service. McDonald's is hot. So McDonald's taught a nigga how to sweat, you know. And, you know, McDonald's is the first place that paid me with a check. You know, besides Abercrombie and Fitch. But I wasn't there for long. So I say McDonald's was my first job. Hope everyone's doing good. I have some Big Red bubble gum. And I like Big Red bubble gum. It's an old bubble gum. Big Red is good. It's almost like eating hot chicken wings, but without the chicken. Big Red bubble gum is like chewing hot sauce. Not necessarily, but it's like chewing hot sauce and sugar. Big Red bubble gum is good. I heated my biscuits up downtown. I heated. I'm living downtown. Sorry. I heated my sausage biscuits up that I purchased in the hotel in the microwave, and now they are, I guess, warm enough to eat. Because when I put stuff in the microwave, I heat it up so long that it's so hot because I know I'm gonna do a lot of shit before I eat it. And by the time I eat it, it ends up cold again. As if I just took it out of the refrigerator or the freezer. So that is the end of this podcast. I'm going to eat, then I'm going to clean my ass, and brush my teeth, and floss, and go sleep, and wake up in the morning, and go get some breakfast at a cool restaurant in Raleigh, North Carolina in the morning with the headliner, the one and only, Chappelle Lacey. I'm very happy to be performing with him and also happy to be performing with Jessica Wellington. Those are great comedians. And whenever I'm around anyone, I feel at my greatest because I feel like I'm accepted. If anyone's willing to hang out with me, because I'm pretty lame. You know, I was homeless. And comfortable with it. So when people hang out with me, I feel like it humbles me, you know, it humbles me. Anything I achieve or receive in life or anything I work towards, I always tell myself, well, I guess I earned it because I know how to remain humble. And what I mean by humble is if I achieve anything in life that's mind blowing or something that allows me to pinch myself to remind myself I achieved it, I tend to look in the mirror and say, God damn, anybody can do that, you know, anybody can do that. And most people say, no, they can't. But I always say anybody can do anything, you know. Doing comedy, people come to me and say, comedy's hard. I can't believe you do comedy. You're very good at it. And I say, you could do it too. Because I said everything that person said before I started comedy to a comic. You know, I went to a comedy show. My first time ever doing comedy, I actually went and saw comedy live by myself in a Michael Jordan hoodie and some great Converses that I have, but they have holes in them because I slept in them. I walked far in them once I moved to California. But I wore those in 2014. I purchased with my McDonald's check to a comedy club in North Carolina called The Laughing Gas. That's not open anymore. But I performed there so much that I ended up moving to Los Angeles. And my first time ever going there, I watched comedians perform. And 7 days later, I tried it was on a Thursday, and I went back the next Thursday. And I never stopped. I mean, I took a year off. I took probably longer than a year. But I feel like as long as I'm still breathing, as long as I'm still seeing, as long as I'm still walking, talking, I'm still doing comedy, even if I'm not going to the comedy clubs. I did take a little break, but I only took a break because I felt like anybody should be able to take a break, doing anything, You work a job for 70 years, you should be able to go on a vacation anytime you choose to go on a vacation. And I stepped away from the scene because I was performing so much. I wasn't living. Then I became homeless, very homeless by choice. Couldn't keep a job. Plus, that was the only option I had. And I started living. Free. I became a free black hippie from North Carolina. And that's when I told myself, okay, I have to do comedy forever. Because I'm content or I'm satisfied with being homeless. I should probably talk about it on the stage. And that's when I knew that comedy would rescue me and possibly I get so good at it I can rescue others and allow them to do whatever they want by creating cool podcasts or cool albums or being myself or drawing cool art. This is Malcolm Hatchett with Wherever I'm At. Malcolm Hatchett with Wherever I'm At podcast. A trillion years. Good night or good morning. It's the AM at morning. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Wherever I'm At with Malcolm Hatchett. Like, subscribe, share, tell everybody. Tell your cousin you don't like. Tell your baby mama. Tell the dude down the street who keep calling the police on you because you fresher than him. Go down the street and tell him to listen to Wherever I'm At. Follow my YouTube page at Malcolm Hatchett. Follow my Instagram page at MalcolmH12. Follow my Twitter page at Malcolm Hatchett. And show love to my Patreon page at Malc12. MALC12. This is The Life of a Comic, Wherever I'm At, with Malcolm Hatchett.